Held captive by my own embrace, a silent calm is taking place. I so want to lose myself, but I can't, because I'm protecting me from the woman that I ain't. Faint spells of distant memories are starting to contrast, and I'm not feeling any of them because things hurt so much from my past. Dominated by my own thoughts, I can't change my frame of mind. I'm wrapped up in time and I can't break away. Never thinking there would become a day when yesterday's tomorrow would bring so much pain and sorrow. Borrow bits and pieces of happiness from my memories to remind me that all my choices in life weren't all bad. Sad though, to think that there are days or times in my life that I can't compare or share with others nor myself. Shelving everything seems so appropriate. There is some crazy inkling it's not there anymore. But we all know it's just waiting for the inappropriate time to emerge from its cover. Hovering lovers, friends, family, kids, abandoned babies, abortion, some of those things I did. Grin and bear them, I did. But somehow I feel I'm carrying the weight of all my sins, which is a mighty heavy load. There are times I feel I may explode, and unlike Job, I fell weak and entertained my thoughts. And I became a false prophet in my world of oblique words and shot of scenes, if you know what I mean. Things you may not recover from. You just may think you need a gun to end it all like a coward on the run. Funny, no one warned you this would come. A day when you would take a life your own. You always thought you were strong, thrown to the wolves of your past. Can you last? Or will you be eaten hollow and swallowed by the black hole of sorrow? There will be tomorrows that will fade away in the distance and bring you back to your existence. And with persistence, as you move on, there will become a strange calm, a tingling embrace that makes way for days of distant memory.
Pumpkin from Pluto, distant memories. Welcome to tonight's workshop. You are attending Living Wealthy, the basics of love, romance, and partnership. I am Ronnie B., and I'm proud to be here with our Prosperous Divas. And tonight we'll be deepening our distinctions of the occurring world of love, love and romance, partnership keys to success, and we always have our divine mind prosperity blaster. Let me turn it over to Diva Nikki.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to your session.
Bless you, Diva Nikki. We hope she didn't blow away her technology, but we want to thank you for joining us tonight for session number 2 of Living Wealthy, the basics, love, romance, and partnership. Now, we're going to get Diva Nikki back together here. I think we got a little communication issue. We are joined by Robin and Nakia. And Diva Nikki, Robin, and Nakia are your course leaders for this 6-part series. This is session number 2. And now, if this is your first time participating in a Prosperous Divas webinar or workshop, we are glad you are here, and we promise if you do the assignments, you will see practical, pragmatic, and tangible results that exceed your expectation. Now, that is a promise we make, and we make it contingent on you actually do the assignments. If you do not do the assignments, we cannot promise, and you should not expect to have results that exceed your expectation, and that may happen anyway. Now, if you missed the previous session, no worries. You are in the right place. We promise you will get value. Just visit our website, prosperousdivas.com, for previous workshops. Living Wealthy, the basics of love, romance, and partnership, is specifically designed for each participant to have a measurable, and quantifiable breakthrough in their personal wealth from inquiring into these basics. The distinctions of love, romance, and partnership form our core experience of relationships. Let me say that again. The distinctions of love, romance, and partnership form our core experience of relationships, which is at the heart or center of power in manifesting our deepest and most important desires. Now, before we start our inquiry, let me check in with the team and see what has opened for them since the first session. And Robin, I see you over there smiling, that big warm smile on your face. And what's opened up since the last session?
Well, Ronnie and everyone, I have been married for 8 years. And I had unknowingly gotten complacent and stopped generating special time with my husband. We usually go on a Saturday night date, and we always have a great time together. Well, last night we had a small dinner party instead of our Saturday night date, and we worked in partnership and had a lovely experience, but it wasn't time for just the two of us. So today, when I saw that we had some free time in the early afternoon, it showed up as an opportunity. So I suggested we go do something fun. So what we did was we took a pretty drive on this beautiful sunny day in my convertible to a quiet place where we could sit and talk while we looked out at the lake. And I know, and it took so little to create a special romantic time together. It was just a matter of thinking of doing it.
And following through.
And following through.
Great. Yeah, wow. Oh, I love what you said, that you've been married for 8 years and you got complacent, and not like a bad thing. Life goes on. You're both working, and I know both of you have a lot of responsibilities that you enjoy that are on your plate. So
yes.
And you can get complacent, and it just all of a sudden that stops not being a priority. Wow.
Yeah.
And wow. And all right. So you long-time relationship people, might want to look at that. Have you gotten a little bit complacent? Because whatever you did to get her, you're going to have to keep doing to keep her.
Yes.
All right. And that works both ways. Okay. All right. And Nikki, do we have your technology working correct again?
Yes, we do. I do apologize for the call being disconnected while I was coughing. Sorry about that.
Okay. Don't worry about it. No apology. Love means never having to say you're sorry, according to that movie. According to the movie. I don't know about that. Okay. Care to share anything that's open since the last session?
What became really more present for me was me also being taking initiative in different conversations and different activities with friends and family and in my dating relationship, knowing that I had the power, I had the control, and I have to take responsibility when things in my own inactions. And so that and in order to get, some of the desires that I want, some of the, to receive some of the things that I want, to be a giver of the things that I desire.
Be a giver of the things you desire. Well, okay.
Yes, and it worked out really well. It worked really, really well.
Well, a giver of the desire, like give so you can receive. Oh, okay. All right. I've been around that program. Wow. Anything else, Nikki?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Nakia, do we have your technology working this evening?
This evening, my technology is doing very well.
I have to put in, see, Diva Nakia has figured out a way to come in like a ninja. We can't see her on any of the monitors, so she and old Grumpy from the old Grumpy Radio, and they're just kind of hanging out looking at, and then she suddenly comes in like a little Cheshire cat. Has any Now, we weren't able to have you at the last session because, things were the way they were, but Nakia is still in, even though she wasn't able to be here fully during the first session, she is in the conversation. And so has anything opened up for you since our last session?
Actually, yes, several things, but one particular one item that came up for me was my lack of spontaneity and self-investment. And when I say that, that's not being selfish to the least, okay, because it's important for us to be selfish to some degree, so therefore we can take care of ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, and otherwise, as well as financially. Never forget that. However, I had an opportunity. I took off some time from work in the past several days to reinvest myself with my time for my son, since he's on spring break and about to go back to school tomorrow. Well, I got this pass for a trampoline center for us to go jump and play. And normally when I would take him, I would take a friend of his with us so he and the friend can jump. Well, didn't have a friend to take with him this weekend. And instead, we went on Friday night to the trampoline center together, got there a little after 8:30 when normally I would already be asleep or in bed or still at work. And I tell you, we jumped and jumped and jumped. Obstacle courses like a ninja. Playing dodgeball with the little kids. I hit my head a couple of times, like, oh, Lord, I'm going to knock myself out. But I had a level of freedom, a sense and release. And my son had the greatest time with his mom.
Aww.
And we laughed and laughed and laughed and just, had that moment, that experience, that giving back to one another time that had been absent for a period of time. Like Robin says, you really have to invest yourself in the other person just as much as that person is investing themselves in you. And never forget those little moments and never forget those opportunities, because oftentimes I would say, I'm too old to be doing all that. Ooh, and I had to get past the I'm too old mindset, because I'm really not old. I'm 42 and very young. But just to enjoy the freedom, absolutely, and the flexibility of saying, today it's just you and me, and we're going to do the thing. We're going to fly as high as we can until we reach the unlimited and the unknown moments in our life. So that's what I received out of that experience.
Wow, that was awesome. That was awesome. Rob and Nikki, don't y'all think that was awesome?
You bet. Just, I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're right, 42 is super young.
Oh yeah. I'm going now. Wait just a minute now. Just because I work for Old Grumpy Radio Network, don't y'all get ridiculous. Well, one thing that just to share what opened for me this week, and what opened for me is the degree that I have killed off love in many areas of my family. And I say that to be responsible, like they have just been killed off. And what I got in doing some of the work, and part of the work was looking at where the presence of love is missing. Now, my mom calls and she says, "Your Aunt Betty, I spoke to your Aunt Betty, and she said, 'What is your problem?' She ain't heard from you, boy." And which I love my Aunt Betty. I don't particularly try to do stuff to get my Aunt Betty upset. And I looked at it and I said, wow, I haven't seen my Aunt Betty in. I'll put it like this: my Aunt Betty lives in Houston, Texas. Now I happen to live in Houston, Texas. The last time I saw my Aunt Betty, I was in Arkansas, so we got to go to another state for me to see somebody that lives in the same city. And I'm like, well, what is that all about? And what it is is that what it is, and I had to look and I said, wow, I love my Aunt Betty. She's always been sweet to me, and what it is her son, my cousin, we have a riff. See, me and him got a riff. Now, it ain't a big riff, but, well, no, let me take that back. It's a riff, so now I want to, like, oh, it's a little bitty riff, like that little bit pregnant, no, it's a riff. And
that's great, Ronnie.
Yeah, and
great to point that out.
And my riff with him has me kill off everybody else around, which happens to be our family. Now, my Aunt Betty, I don't have a riff with her. His brother, his older brother, I ain't got a riff with him. His younger brother, I ain't got a riff with him. His sister, I ain't got a riff with her. But I got a riff with him, and now all of them are killed off. And I'm like, wow, that, and I wasn't even present that there was something to be present to.
So, Ronnie, I have a quick question really for everyone, and that is, could you say what you mean by killed off? Because I don't think that's what I mean.
Okay, just
necessarily clear for everyone.
Killed off,
you're not a murderer, right?
Yeah, well, in a past life maybe. but only the Russians know. Now, all right. When I say killed off, it's in terms of communication. So they may not, which physically kills them off, because if I'm not talking to you, guess what? You might as well be dead. So in my world, they might as well be dead because I ain't talking to them. There's no love there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there, yeah, And when I say I kill, that's because it's inauthentic. There's plenty of love there. Plenty of love there.
Yeah.
When I choose to empower that conversation. So, so I, just really got in that space. I'm like, wow, well, where else do I have a issue with person A, and then B, C, D, D, E, F, who haven't done anything, they're gone. And I started seeing all, different relationships where the presence of love was not where I desire, and the source is not addressing issues with the person, the issue that would serve to have the issue resolved with. Not doing that. So that's what opened up. Okay, so I'm in the course with everybody else. Okay, and there was some other stuff, but we would, we need to move on now. Okay, I do. Robin, did that answer everything? Hello, did I lose Robin? I may have lost Robin. Okay. And,
no, I'm here.
Oh, okay, all right.
Sorry.
So that is, okay,
I have my mute button on and didn't realize it.
All right. All right. Well, thank you. Now, we're gonna start our first inquiry, the occurring world of love, romance, and partnership with Robin. Over to you.
Yay! Thank you. So first of all, I have to say that there are very few topics that I like more than that of the occurring world, because it gives so much power, Ronnie. And I'm so glad that we're talking about this today. So to get on with it, a barrier that keeps us from connecting or experiencing the presence of love, romance, and partnerships at the level we desire is the filter or context from which we listen in our conversations. So it's like, where are we listening from? And a lot of times we don't even know that until we really look. It's so automatic. So I'm going to use the example of yellow sunglasses. So if you had a pair of yellow sunglasses and you put them on and they have yellow lenses, the world would appear yellow. And if you leave on those glasses long enough, you would forget that you had on yellow glasses, and the world would you would just live like the world is kind of yellow. And it wouldn't seem unusual, and that would provide a kind of a filtering through which you saw the world, but you would no longer be aware of it. And in life, it's kind of the same way. So the filter you listen through will, by default, create the occurring world of the conversation between you and another person. So I'm going to say that again. The filter you listen through will, by default, create the occurring world of the conversation between you and another. And what I mean by default here is automatically. It just automatically happens. So if the occurring world is strange or difficult, everyone will experience a level of strangeness or difficulty. If the occurring world is one of love and service, everyone will experience love and service in some form. Love, romance, and partnership is a conversation. You are either listening for love, romance, and partnership, or listening for reasons you cannot have the presence or experience of love, romance, and partnership you desire. You may not be aware that you are sabotaging yourself because of a listening for failure or obstacles. There's a filter or a context keeping you from hearing what is needed and wanted for your desires to be fulfilled. So in other words, the filter is in your way. That simple. The occurring world is not the real world. It is the conversation you have that impacts your experience of the real world. So back to the yellow sunglasses for a second. It seems like the world really is yellow, but it's only yellow because you're wearing the yellow sunglasses. Other people aren't wearing the yellow sunglasses, so it's not going to be that way for them. So you have your own occurring world. So when you get a new job, or you start a new career, or you open a new business, the world has a certain way it occurs. More than likely, it's filled with possibility, and the future occurs as bright. That's kind of the nature of the way we listen when we are doing something new. Same thing when you meet that new love or you start a new romantic relationship, everything occurs as good and happy, or maybe even bigger than that. Perhaps your dreams are being fulfilled. And then you go fast forward 6 months, that perfect new job gets a little tarnished and it starts looking like the old job, and it occurs as just another job. So what happened? The wonderful new lover or romantic relationship is starting to occur as a bad choice, or even worse. We've been through that, right?
Excuse me.
Or they occur like some old relationship from the past. What the heck happened? So what if? What if nothing really happened except your listening went from "this is great," and you were listening for what was great, to your listening shifting to "this sucks," and now you only hear what sucks. So I'm going to say that most likely some little thing happened that reminded you of an unpleasant past situation, and you did an about face in your listening. So you stopped listening for what's great, and you began to listen for evidence that it sucks. Does this sound familiar to anybody?
Oh no.
You're not one to admit it.
No.
Yeah, really. I know, and it's so hard. The worst part of this is you didn't, that had you known, you might have been able to do something different. So have you ever been in a relationship and it occurred like everything was going wrong, and then something happened and you realized everything was actually perfect? So it can go either way. It can go from sucky to great or great to sucky. Have you ever dealt with a boss or a client and you knew things were going horribly badly, and then you learned that the other person, your boss or your client, was super pleased? They were not living in the same world as you at all. Or it could go the other way too. You thought everything was going great, and someone let you know, you're fired, So how we listen shapes our experience and conversations of the world. It is the fabric of our lives. And the good news is you have the power to choose how you listen. So I'm going to start you on an exercise. Everybody ready? You're going to do some writing. Yay. So you're going to write the following categories. Love is one, romance is another, and the third and last one is partnerships. So then, under each category, write one thing where it occurs that you have been putting up with something you don't like or want, or resisting, or trying to change, or giving up, or have given up on something ever happening. And it can be a combination too. So you could be not liking it and thinking that what you want's never going to happen. Or you can be resisting it and trying to change it. So things that you've been putting up with, trying to change, resisting, or you've completely given up that it's ever going to go the way you want. The next thing you're going to do is write down all the reasons it occurs that way. And they can be reasons you realize are made up. They can be realized you think are real. Just the reasons why it occurs this way for you. Well, he did say that he had a great relationship with this other woman once, which must mean that he doesn't really like me that much, or whatever you've got going on. So now that you have your list, and you may need more time for this to work on it after our session today, now that you have your list for each item, answer this question. What is missing, the presence of which would make a difference, and love, romance, and partnership would be restored, or the level of love, romance, and partnership I experience will exceed my desires? So you're going to look for what's missing, that if it were present, you would be restored to the level of love, romance, and partnership you desire, or even beyond your desires. So we're going to give you a couple of minutes to work while we share what we see so far in this exercise. So, darling Divas and Ronnie, what do you see?
I see. Can you hear me?
You bet.
I see for myself that if I continue to have the conversations, take responsibility for my own inactions, and waiting on other people to do things that I so desire to see, that my relationships, my partnerships in business and romantically will all just continue to shift and continue to grow.
Yes. It's great. Anything more about that to elaborate on it?
Well, I can use for an example, a girlfriend, a young lady of mine. That's like I mentor her actually. I know that there are times when I want to spend more time with her and have deeper conversations with her, and I wait for her to initiate it versus me initiating the conversations or me initiating us getting together. I spend more time sometimes just waiting for her to take it rather than myself.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, it's really, really great. Thank you. Well, for myself, I noticed.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's great. I do too.
Yeah, I'm hanging out with that one.
Yeah. So I'll go myself. I notice that I often decide in advance what I think my husband is going to do. Like it's my listening of him. Like he is a particular way, and I predict what he's going to do. But the truth is, when I don't let that stop me, oftentimes he's not like I think at all. So what I'm going to do, so a lot of times I don't even bother to invite him to do the things that I think he's not going to want to do. But I'm just going to plain old give that up. I'm going to give up that listening of him, and I'm going to invite him when I think of it.
There you go.
So that's what I got.
Yeah, thank you, man. And Nikki, yeah, the putting in an action where the presence will get expressed, and then that starts being natural. Now, one of the things just from this conversation that I see with my cousin that I have a riff is that I had to ask you, like, what is the riff about? Like that would be like a good question. Well, what is the riff about?
That'd be a really good question, Mr.
Right, well, what is the riff about? Now, given that my cousin hasn't stole from me or, done any harm, and what the riff is that my cousin is very competitive. And I say overtly competitive. And for me, it has me, I take it as I will have to be defensive of things I do. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Understandable.
So if I go see a good movie, and I'm like, man, this is a really good movie. Wow. Well, let me call up a couple of people. I just saw this great movie. You should check it out. Now, I don't, I'm like, of course, I'd like them to check it out because I think it's a good movie. But more, it's like, hey, you talk to your friends, people you like, and, they will or they won't. But now I called him, and, I already saw the movie.
Yeah.
I always feel like, okay, well, you beat me to the punch or whatever, So, but I got that, just in this conversation that my having it that, now notice I said my having it because I have no clue what he has, but my having it that he's nudging me for competition is what knocks out the presence of love we have for each other.
Yeah. And Ronnie, you also...
He's a big old teddy bear. Yeah,
I got it.
He's a big old teddy bear.
Aw. Yeah, you love your cousin. Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And
I can hear it, that you really do.
Yeah, yes, I do. And
he's
a big old teddy bear, and he can be real competitive. He can be that way.
Well, that is definitely your listening of him, Ronnie.
Yeah, he can be. It's just that he's not that way all the time.
Yeah.
He can be that. He can be that way. See, there's nothing wrong with him being that way, because I can be that way, but maybe not all the time. He's not all the time that way. When we sit down to eat dinner, he's not racing to see which one of us finish off the turkey leg, unless we are.
That would be a little scary.
Yeah, we have done. Now I'm going to say, unless we have done that. So
you have?
At
what age, Ronnie?
We have been in the race, and we have been very old and still doing that. So, I'm gonna tell you,
my God.
We ain't talking about we talking about the teeny boppers looking at us going, oh my God, they they be too grown, and we still do it, So, but get that it's not all the time, and that's okay.
Yeah. Hey, I have a question. Can I ask you something? Oh no, go ahead, Nikki.
Oh, I was just going to say, and that also doesn't mean that you have to be in competition with him or be defensive when he is competitive, because that's just him being who he is.
Exactly.
That's almost exactly what I was just about to say too. I was going to say it a little differently. Like, what if you just let him win?
Well,
if he does get competitive.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that it's not even a matter of winning or losing. It's the making him wrong.
Yeah.
When he's just being him.
And you don't like who you are with him.
I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I'm not required to. I'm not. So it's like dumping my experience. It's dumping my responsibility for my experience of our conversation and relationship on him, and he doesn't even know what's going on.
Right.
And he, I'm just going to say that, and how many people in quote romantic type relationships are dumping the responsibility for their experience,
absolutely,
on the other person.
Great, Ronnie.
Okay, but you got to continue with the exercise.
Exercise? No.
Did you lock in our dialogue?
Yes, this is perfect, because the next part, what I'm going to talk about for a second, is just right on track to what you just shared, and I really acknowledge you for sharing something so vulnerable with us and with everyone, Ronnie, where you really, I love that you show your humanity.
Yeah.
Now, for some of you, what might make a difference is forgiving someone. Ta-da! or forgiving yourself. Ta-da! For others, it may be telling the truth to someone about your desires, or simply sharing yourself. It might be a conversation for letting go. So whatever you see, whatever it is, write it down. And then finally, write down who and when you will have the conversation, with whom and when you will have the conversation that restores the presence of love, romance, or partnership, or a combination, or have your experience of love, romance, and partnership exceed your expectations. So we're going to take a 2-minute stretch break before we resume the conversation, And during that time, you can stretch. You might want to do some more writing. And during that break, we will be sharing and responding to questions that you've sent us. Also, you can continue this exercise during the week. It is always available to you. And then after the stretch break, I'm going to turn over the reins to Nikki.
All right, and Robin, we had a ton of responses from last week, and since
Great.
they were all, since most of them were like to inflate your ego, we ignored those. And
whose ego? All of our egos.
But we did.
But Ronnie, you don't understand. My ego is so tiny.
Oh, hey. We'll just leave it be.
And I'm darn proud of it.
We'll leave it be. You know.
Yes, please. It's so fun to tease you.
But we did get a question from Darlene out of Omaha, Nebraska, and Darlene had a question about presence of love, and what do we mean by presence of love?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I want to take that one.
Okay.
May I?
It was written to you. So
oh, good. I love that part. Then I will certainly answer it. So the presence of love means that you are experiencing feelings and thoughts and physical sensations that leave you or that have you feel touched or moved or inspired or in love. So we talk about the presence of love to separate or distinguish it from the concept of love. So when I'm mad at my husband or mad at someone, a lot of times I'm not really in touch with my love for that person because it's been displaced by something. But if you ask me, do you love this person? I can tell you, yes, I know that I do. Sure, I know that I do. Just like you know, when you're like Ronnie, when you're annoyed at your cousin, you know, and he's being competitive and you're annoyed right in that moment, you might not actually be in the presence of loving him. You might not experience the love. So that's what we mean by the presence of love. Like really being in the experience, not just knowing it intellectually. And please, anyone feel free to add to that or correct any of it or whatever.
Oh, no, you were absolutely on point. I completely agree with you 100%.
I love when people agree. Yay. Ronnie, anything you want to add, Ronnie? Or Nakia?
No, let's leave that because we had a question for Shirley out of Detroit for Diva Nikki. And the question for Diva Nikki is that why is there a man on the show and it's Prosperous Divas? And that was for Shirley out of Detroit. So I noticed Shirley did not ask Ronnie, but she did ask Nikki.
Well, let's just kick you off.
I am sure she is not the only one that is curious about that question, So the thing about it is we have been accustomed and are already always listening of a diva being in the form of a woman. But a diva is an attitude. It's not necessarily gender-oriented.
Yeah, we would even say it's like prosperity, a mindset that can be generated by anyone. Okay, I like that. I like by anyone. And now, just to do a quick check-in, Diva Nakia, do we have you?
I am present.
Okay, Diva Nakia, because there was actually a question for you. And your question is coming from Brittany out of Cleveland, and it's not a James Brown question. And her question, okay, and her question for Diva Nakia is, how does the webinars and how does she write this? How do the webinars impact your spirituality?
Wow. Excellent question. Well, Brittany, the webinars allow me to think further, okay? Sometimes we limit ourselves in the realm of possibilities. But when we allow ourselves to expand our thought process, it gives us the opportunity to grow. Now, my spirituality is just what it is. I believe in God. I stand firm on Christ's word. His word is what? The book, the Bible. Everyone has their own walk. Some people believe in Hinduism and Islam and Buddha and so forth, but my walk is my walk. So things will continue to fall in line with me because I won't allow anything to change my perspective on who Christ is for me in my life. But it's nothing wrong with us learning and us being a part of the webinars and doing the work, because in actuality it allows me to grow closer to God's purpose for each and every one of our lives, which is to love one another. That's the greatest gift. And this is about loving self, but it's also about loving thy neighbor. It's also about loving thy neighbor, not just your next door neighbor who lives in a house or the camp or the apartment building next to you, but those that are across the world, that are across the nation, that are. So it allows us to grow, and it allows us to build communities, and it allows us to commune together with like-mindedness. For those individuals who are not ready to walk in that path, there's a difference between those that have experienced the opportunities and the transformational experiences versus those who have not yet been exposed or who may believe they've been exposed, but who have not gone through the process of doing the work to get the full impact and really be set free, which is our ultimate goal of being free to deliver to the world who we are as how God designed us to be individually. So that is my position on the webinars, the workshops, the work that is being done by each individual person, which is why the constant request of each person is to simply do the work. Give it a try. Try it a day. Try it a week. Try it a month. Try it for each of the sessions. Go back and listen to some of the other webinars and seminars and do the work. And then come back and let us know how it's impacted you and what it has done for your life, how it has changed your thinking or allowed you to just consider the possibilities and the opportunities that are available to you that you didn't even realize were there, but was always there. But just because the work had not been done, you were not aware. Your eyes are now being opened. Take off the sunglasses.
Beautiful. Wow. So well said, and such beautiful thinking. Thank you. Gosh, I got so much from that. I love the part when you were talking about our neighbors, and you were not just talking about your next door neighbor, but our neighbors all over the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so great. What a big heart.
And we need to turn it over to Diva Nikki.
Yay!
All right. Well, here we are now, everyone. We are now entering our section of the listening that is already there. And you know that just in what we talked about earlier in the webinar, we have already been addressing in some form our already always listening. So the context of our listening is the filter we listen from during a conversation. It is always there in the background, and it is usually so ingrained we have stopped noticing it. Remember, the yellow sunglasses, we forget we're wearing them. The power in recognizing or distinguishing the listening that is already there is you have a choice to take back your power versus habit and machinery running the show. Example, I can tell by the way they look at me they're not going to give me a chance. We're already listening for rejection. Another one. If they really think what I am doing is right, they will tell me. Listening for approval. When I hear, we are looking over the applications and we will get back at you, I know that's a bunch of bull. We're listening for failure. The listening that is already there keeps us trapped in the past. It impacts our future, limits our greatness, and diminishes our power. It is insidious. We have the power to generate or create the listening we desire in any conversation. The access is being present to the conversation that is already there in our listening. Last session, we created the Divas context for love and romantic. So, the Divas context for love is, for this inquiry, we are going to distinguish love as a conversation. The degree we have conversations for love is the degree we experience love in our lives. We experience love from conversations we chose to generate for having love, experienced and expressed in our lives. Let's make it simple. There is no love in your experience until you say so. Ever had a crush on someone and you were madly in love, but they didn't experience anything? You generated your experience of love. For you, love, it existed. It was tangible and as real as an oak tree or building. You have the power to create love anytime, under any circumstances, because there is power in your words. Now, the Divas romantic context is the degree we have conversations for romance is the degree we experience romance in our lives. Yes, we experience romance from conversations we chose to generate for having romance experience and expressed in our lives. What keeps us from generating the concept of love or romantic in our listening during a conversation is the past. Those filters are basically past conversations or past conversations about experiences that are not stuck in our future conversations. Think about it. Wow. So, we're going to do a little exercise you can take on anytime to seek out and let go of those old conversations, keeping you from your good. Write the following categories, if you will: love, romance, partnerships. Under each category, write one thing where it occurs. You have been putting up with something you don't like or want, resisting, trying to change, or giving up on ever happening. Next to each item, write all your complaints about the issue and the conversations that you already have. Next to each item, write the first time you had the complaint. Has it been months, years, or seemingly forever? Now, next to each item, write whether this is really a current complaint you want resolved or an old issue you are ready to let go. Remember, resentment is you taking the poison, hoping the other person will die.
Diva Nikki, before you go on, I just wanted to just reiterate something that you said, which is, how long has this complaint been going on? You know, how long has this complaint? And then the other part is it really a current complaint that you want resolved? Because, see, you might tell, you know, some of us love our complaints.
Right.
You know, we not necessarily, you know, we done had this complaint for a while, and we getting some juice out of it. Now, we're not really working on that in this part, but that, you know, just want to present that a little bit because next week we will. Go ahead, Diva Nikki.
So, now answer this question. What is missing? The presence of which would make a difference in love, romance, and partnership would be restored, or the level of love, romance, and partnership I experience will exceed my desires. So we're going to give you a couple of minutes to work while we share what we see so far in the exercises. We will continue the conversation on the other side of the break.
Well, we're giving a couple of minutes while we do that. but one thing I just wanted to quickly share, because we actually do need to move on, is that when looking at those two contexts, the romantic context and the context for love, and looking at those two contexts, just if you choose to take ownership and operate from that context, doing this exercise, I'll say you're able to see more. Because things that, you know, maybe, it didn't occur that I was putting up with not being in communication. Well, I put it like this. I was putting up with not being with my aunt out of my complaint about my cousin. But that was not even present to me as an issue until, as Nakia said, I started doing the work. So I just say that, and I wasn't even looking in that direction. You know, I was other stuff, but that's what came up. So for you, for anyone else, it's going to be what's particular for you. But it came out of doing the work. And Diva Nakia, I know we had to move on, so let you continue.
Okay. So we will continue the conversation on the other side of the break with partnership. Keys to success. The time is now 6:08. Please return at 6:14. That gives about 6 minutes. All right? And we will come back shortly. Enjoy the break.
Forgive. I plant seeds of love in my heart. The seeds I plant in my garden grow into flowers or vegetables according to the divine pattern within them. Reflecting on this idea in times of prayer, I realize that the seeds I sow within my mind and heart also produce according to their kind. So I plant seeds of love and kindness, compassion, and forgiveness. I speak words of love, silently or loud, to establish peace within and around me. I nurture the seeds of love I have sown, and they produce fruitful results in my interactions with others. This love helps me to forgive. With love in my heart, I look beyond the seeming negative experience to see the love and divinity that exists in all. My seeds of love yield a harvest of loving experiences. If we love one another, God lives in us, and his love is perfected in us. 1 John 4:12.
I look back on all those good times we once shared, and I must have been blind just to think I'd find someone new, one who'd love me better than you. Well, in they come as a surprise. Loneliness has opened my eyes. I am the love I could find. Still I can't get you out of my mind. 'Cause there's no one in the world to love me. No one in the world gonna move me. No one in the world can love me like you do, baby. Every time I'm with someone, loving you, yes, I wanna run. I wanna run back to your arms again. Ain't no one in the world loves me like you do. Are you happy now with your life? Well, for me, I'm breaking inside so tough and sure that I could not be.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the second session of tonight's seminar, Partnership, the Keys to Success. And if you missed the last, oh God, if you weren't here for the last session, I know, yes, it was great. And I'm just going to say that please be happy that it's recorded because it was really a off the hook session. And we had a question over the break, and to answer that question from Diva Robin, I will call my knuckle-headed cousin tonight and with his competitive self. But let me turn this section over to you. Go for it, Diva Robin.
Knuckle-headed cousin. All right, thank you. I'm so glad. That's great. I want to hear the result. Next session, you must check back in with us on that.
Surely.
So this week, I want to talk to you about partnership. And this week, we're going to review some basics from our previous session so as to deepen them. There's a lot of work ahead, and we need everyone to be fully grounded. If you missed the previous session, jump right in. Before we start the inquiry, let's see what's already in our occurring world when we hear the word partnership. So when you hear the word partnership, do you hear opportunity? Do you hear or expect problems? Do you hear possibility? How about team or teamwork, wealth, ease? It is all good. All good. Diva Nikki, what does Mr. Webster say?
Well, we might have Diva Nikki muted, but Diva Nikki would say, Mr. Webster says, noun, the state of being a partner or partners. We should go on working together in partnership.
Yeah. So as a distinction and a possibility, how would the divas frame partnership? Diva Nikki, are you back?
I am unmuted
now,
yay. Yes.
Welcome, welcome.
Okay, so what do we hear in the distinction? Sorry?
Yeah, how would the divas frame partnership? The Prosperous Divas partnership context.
The state of being in a conversation for prosperity that naturally attracts the right people for the manifestation of one's desires and the fulfillment of possibilities mutually beneficial for everyone involved is the Divas context.
Wow, I love that. So what do you hear in that definition? What do you hear in the distinction of it?
What I hear is if we take responsibility and if we own our own part and are willing to have the conversation, then we are now allowing the doors to open. We are initiating and we actually have some control over things that we think we have no control over.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
That's cool. So I hear, excuse me, being trusting and open in a conversation that is inclusive rather than exclusive, where prosperity is an us phenomenon rather than an I phenomenon.
I like that.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that one. Can you tell?
You greedy people out there, shame on you. You are missing out. You might want to give up that vice.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow. Diva
and
Nakia.
It really does
do we
work
have
that
Diva
way.
Nakia? Oh, wow. Diva Nakia, if you are with us, please comment on that one.
I think that was There's nothing that could compare with that statement.
It was awesome.
Nothing, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
It was flawless.
I'm fully invested in that because that is the way it's supposed to be. That
Yeah.
is a situation. Unfortunately, reality, we know there's not enough selfless people in the world who's invested in ensuring the partnership is as equal as it is able to be, to where there's not just taking, and not just giving, but there's a mutual understanding and sharing of information and content to where the level of success can be experienced by both. So I have nothing to add to.
What you just said was pretty darn good. Yeah, it's really super.
Thank you, Robin.
So we're going to have you start a process for having more partners and partnership to forward the manifestation of your greatest desires and good, the Prosperous Divas Partnership Keys to Success. Many of you are working hard to move to the next level financially, spiritually, and in your relationships. And we say that partnership is the key. Over the next several sessions, we are going to give you frameworks that will have you naturally attracting sponsors and partners to your business and projects. Here's some more writing for you. We want you to create the following categories. They're going to sound familiar: love, romance, and partnerships. Under each category, make a list of results you desire fulfilled where you see that partnership would make a difference. For example, under wealth, a partnership or sponsor to promote your book tour or project. Under relationships, partnering with family members to send your parents on a cruise. Reminds me of united we stand, divided we fall. We simply want you to start thinking and being present to the world of partnership. And I am going to also say to the possibility of partnership. Under each category, also write any complaints you have about partnership, especially if they are persistent complaints. So, special emphasis on the complaints you've had going on for a long time. What new possibility or openings for action are already available from using the Prosperous Divas partnership context in one of your areas?
I got it.
Jerry, please.
I got to burn the shit. One of the things that's already opened up is that looking at the context, and the context is the state of being in a conversation for prosperity. Yeah. So I would have to, it's not just about like getting partners.
Right.
It's the state of being in conversations where partnership naturally arises. Like if you mix the ingredients and put it in the oven, the cake naturally rises because what was needed to have that happen was put in. So what when I'm looking at partnerships, if I'm looking at it from the state of being in a conversation for prosperity, as Diva Nakia said, then it's mutually. Prosperity is mutual. You can't have prosperity for one and not the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't, like Dr. King said, as long as one person is not free, then your freedom is under assault.
Yeah.
Yours, as long if one person, and you go that there are billions of people, but that is where it begins with one.
Yes.
So, I definitely, I'm like, my approach to partnership, as opposed to, as opposed to, let's say, a strategy or rule, and that, and we're actually going to have strategies as we go on in this session. But everything starts with the state of being in a conversation for prosperity.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. If you're not, because that's the wellness of everyone involved. Yeah.
Mhm. Gosh, Ronnie, you've pretty much said it all. Do you think we should just move on?
Move on.
Yeah. I certainly don't have anything that would be beyond the amazing.
Well, we'll check in. Divas, Nikki, Nakia, anything burning? We don't want to suppress.
I co-sign.
I just want to say one thing. And I appreciate what you shared a moment ago, Ronnie, because some people can have the mindset the mindset that you see somebody and you immediately say, "Oh yeah, this process is about me going up to you and saying, hey, I want to partner with you." First of all, there's been no conversation. They may not be in agreement with you. This person may or may not know anything about you, and you haven't done any research. So, like Ronnie said, it begins with a conversation. And as a result of the conversation and the growth of the conversation and the maturity of the conversation, over a period of time, a mutual respect and understanding and desire to partnership will grow, okay? And it will be authentic at that time. Then you will know you can create a viable partnership with someone who has a mutual mindset as yourself. That's all I have to say.
That's wonderful. Absolutely brilliant.
Diva Robin, carry on.
We're going to go much deeper into the world of partnerships and sponsors with some practical and pragmatic tools for you to use. In our final segment, we are joined by Nakia for the Divine Mind Prosperity Blaster. And before that, we'll take a quick 5-minute break. The time is now 6:27. Please return at 6:32.
Appreciate. Thank you, God, for life. Taking time to consider my family and friends reminds me how blessed I am. As I open my heart and let my appreciation express in word and deed, I feel joyful. Through the grace of God, these thoughtful, caring people support me. They believe in me. They love me. I am grateful for every act of kindness and consideration I receive. My appreciation reaches far and wide when I consider all the behind-the-scenes people who make my everyday life safe and comfortable. I show appreciation in numerous ways, a call, card, or an act of kindness. Perhaps the highest form of appreciation I can give is to hold others in prayer. I do, also praying that I will give back in meaningful ways that show my appreciation for all that God has created. I give thanks to my God always for you. 1 Corinthians 1:4.
Telling tales and biting nails are gone, but in my mind, I know they will still live on and on. But how do you thank someone who has taken you from crayons to perfume? It isn't easy, but I'll try. If you wanted the sky, I would ride across the sky in letters that would soar 1,000 feet high to serve with love. The time has come for closing books and long last looks must end. And as I leave, I know that I am leaving my best friend. A friend who taught me right from wrong and weak from strong. That's a lot to learn. What can I give you in return? If you wanted the moon, I would try to make a start, but I would rather you let me give my heart to serve with love.
Welcome back. I am
Welcome back. Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed our final break. We do want to apologize because our webinar is running a little bit over our scheduled time, and the sharing and the distinctions that were being presented were just so deep. We do hope you forgive us. And if not, you can speed past the breaks, okay? But right now, let me turn it over to Diva Nakia for as we continue on with the Divine Mind Prosperity Blaster. Diva Nakia, please go for it.
Thank you. I actually was speaking too soon. I was into the music the moment. I had my hands open on my knees with my eyes closed and just absorbing the moment and just in this place. And then the music came back on. I was like, oh.
All right. Well. Well, over to you.
I am Nakia, as I said. We have a great Divine Mind Prosperity Blaster for you this week. Woo. Thrive on the challenges. When one path is blocked, you are forced to look for another path. Everybody can relate to that. There's a good chance that other paths could be a better one. When the usual options are unavailable, you must look for other options. that could very well lead you to a more valuable option. Just consider it. It's easy to get complacent when things are going smoothly. But if you remain complacent for too long, you'll wake up one day to discover you've been left behind. Ooh, that hurts. Sure, unexpected challenges can be bothersome, yes indeed, but they can also keep you on your toes. That sudden, difficult situation can lead to new, valuable skills, knowledge, wisdom, and vigor. When events don't go as expected, it's your opportunity to expect more from yourself. You are flexible, adaptable, resourceful, able to transform setbacks and surprises into new progress. And I really want you to get that. That's self-affirmation. Listen to it again. You are flexible, adaptable, resourceful, able to transform setbacks and surprises into new progress. Decide to thrive on the challenges, and you'll find an even better way. So what I see for myself in this is, like Ronnie and Robin and Nikki was sharing earlier about some of the constant complaints, I have had to actually do this work. And I've been working on this work for some time now. And simple as my work schedule. My work schedule has not been conducive for me to really fulfill my role as I believe I should fill it as a parent and as a partner with the team of Old Grumpy Radio, as well as my church family and different other commitments and obligations that I have. So my constant complaint was, they don't care about me. They know I'm a single mom. They're not trying to make it conducive for me to be available. Yada, 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 yada. Well, I had to become creative. So one of the things that I do, I've already put my manager, on alert. He was fully aware of different things that was going on. He continues to have me in a time frame that is not what I was hired to be a part of. So I bring my son to work with me. Now, everybody can't do that. But there are nights that I have my dad drop my son off to me, or I go pick him up and bring him up to the job, and he stays with me until I close at night. That's not healthy for him. But I'd rather have him with me, and we have some type of time than no time at all. And there are other things that I have done, other changes that I've made in order to make sure that what I desire and how I see my life is reflective of the way I believe my life should be without having a negative impact on other people, because I'm still being considerate of others and their schedule and their family relationships. So moving forward, the 6 guiding questions for being a design mind prosperity blaster is productivity, and I hope you have your pens and pencils ready. No, you didn't put them away. So again, productivity, psychology, persuasion, physiology, presence, and purpose. Today, we are focusing on the first area for being a divine mind prosperity blaster, which is productivity. Woohoo! What is my mission for today? Okay? Consider this as a game you are creating with yourself, and playing the game will result in you being a divine mind prosperity blaster. Example. My mission for today is to have at least 4 of my coworkers or clients say, I am surprised how easily you made this for me. Man, Now you have no way to guarantee they will say these exact words. By making it a game, you naturally get creative in having it happen. So there's no guarantee that these words are going to be said, or those exact words are going to be said. But making it a game will allow you to naturally be creative in making it happen. When it does happen, whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Oh, my bad. What must I accomplish, or what actions will I take to fulfill today's mission? Okay, so in each conversation, I will ask the other person, are they sure I totally got their communication, and are they empowered from our conversation? That's an example that you can use. Okay, now the assignment. Each day, I will create my mission and write it down. That's step 1. Each day, I will create my mission and write it down. Number 2, at the end of the day, at the end of my day, your day, I will record if I succeeded or failed. This is going to be fun. Number 3, I will write down what worked in having me succeed and what I saw didn't work if I failed. I like this. Number 4, I will congratulate myself for playing the game. Number 5, I will be prepared to share the results I created with the Prosperous Divas, share it on Facebook, or with good and supportive people. Keywords, good and supportive. Keep a daily log or post daily on Facebook any results or insights. Please share with the Prosperous Divas. Tag us, send it to us, put it on our page, however, but definitely keep us in the loop. We want to know your results, and I'm excited for you and your success. So, okay, you have all of that down now. Let's go ahead and prepare for the next session, which is Sunday, March 26th. So definitely write this down on your calendar and your log and your schedule, and check our website for registration and details, or follow us on Facebook, check out our link, our Facebook page, and register. Tag a friend. Share the information. Register your friend and say, hey, this is time, the place, date. You need to be present. Visit me, by the way, on my website at the appointed time, appointedtimeforyou.com, and join the movement. For more information about workshops and seminars, visit us at prosperousdivas.com. Tonight's Prosperous Divas are myself, Nakia Franklin, appointedtimeforyou.com, a.k.a. Empress of Faith, Nikki Taplin, BizSolutions.com, Diva Nikki, of course, Miss Robin Jameson at robinjameson.com. That's her website. You can contact her for any consulting opportunities as well through her website, and she has beautiful pictures and portraits on there as well. Please enjoy the music selection. Ooh, we got tongue-tied for Luther Vandross. Oh! Prosperous Divas. Prosperity is a mindset that can be created by anyone. Peace, love, and blessings. Till next week. We'll see you.
You are Superwoman because in a single bound, you can make a smile out of a frown. Because bad moments rolled off your chest like bullets off a bulletproof vest. Because you can work, cook a tasty meal, give the kids a bath, and still have energy to give your husband something he can feel. Because you can smell bullshit coming like Ray Charles could hear a hummingbird humming. Because you can tear down a person's brick wall without using your hands at all. Because you can balance being a mother, a wife, and a friend all on one hand. Because you know, although you're just one person, you can help God give many blessings. You are Superwoman because without you, there could be no Superman.